Hi, welcome to Robyn's Roost. I'm Robyn Rassett, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Minnesota. I live on a farm, and if you watch my videos, you will not recognize this background. So I've been a little bit missing in action for the last week or so because I've moved my stamp room downstairs. So I do my classes in my rec room downstairs, and my stamp room has been upstairs in a bedroom. Tiny bedroom, I might add. And so I'm very forgetful. So during my classes, if you're ever here, you know that I do a lot of up and down. Good for me, I guess, because I need the exercise. But anyways, I've decided to move into a spare room downstairs that was a junk room. So it has taken me 2 months to empty the junk room. I'm a little bit of a hoarder. I like to think of myself as being frugal, right? I might need it again someday. So I have emptied that room. Like I said, it took me 2 months, a lot of procrastination because I had to go through everything. And then last Sunday, I finally decided, let's move the table. So once my craft table was moved down here, I had burned my bridges. I needed to move everything. So you haven't seen any cards from me on my blog post this week because I haven't been able to stamp. Anyways, today I've got this really cool puzzle, 8-piece puzzle slider card that I learned from Allison Ephraim, a demonstrator in New Jersey, I think she is. So I've made mine with the Tune In stamp set, a fun retro TV. So those of you who are my age remember these big boxy TVs. You know, now we watch TV on our phone, right? Anyways, one of my fondest memories is not in my house ever. My mom was kind of a stickler for neatness, but I can remember my aunt and uncle having a TV on top of a TV on top of a TV. Remember those days? Anyways, so this card opens like this, and then you have the cool happy birthday greeting inside, and then it slides together. So it actually comes together pretty easy. The difficult part, for me anyways, was cutting the designer series paper to keep it all, because I wanted the lines to match up. If you had a paper that was like an overall pattern of checks or something where they didn't have to line up, it would be really easy. But let's flip the camera and I will show you how to cut this and put it together. So I have the card base all prepared. It is 4¼ by 9½. So a little bit shorter than a typical card base. You can still get 2, right, out of a piece of paper. And then you're going to score it at 1 inch, 2 inches, 7½, and 8½. So you have these 1 inch score lines on the sides. And when you score it, fold it. You're going to want to make sure that it's lined up in case you had something crooked, because it's very important that it's straight. So make sure your edges are lined up, and then give it a good burnish to make sure it's where it needs to be. And it's just going to be in and out, mountain and valley. I always get those confused. So that's your card base. Then you're going to need, which I don't have laying here, then you're going to need a white liner for the inside. And this is just a 4 by 5¼ yes. And you can go ahead and adhere that down whenever you want, because you're not going to be stamping on this. You're just going to be adhering your little TV to the inside. This isn't the best, doing this on top. Yeah, I can't do that on top of there. Okay, I'm going to set that off to the side. Now you also need a piece of, I've got basic black, so you're going to want this to be the same color as your base. And this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So just a fourth of a piece of cardstock. And then you're going to need your DSP, and I'm using the Full of Life. This is a different pattern than the one on the card that I showed you, but it's going to work just fine. So I'm going to cut that in a minute. You're going to need a piece of you're going to need a piece of cardstock for your TV, and I'm using pecan pie. Seemed like a nice woodsy look for the TV case. And then you're going to need a scrap piece of white that you can cut 2 of the labels out for your TV screen. So we're going to start with these are going to be the strips that hold your designer series paper. So for this, you are going to start by cutting it in half. So this is 4 1/4. So half is 2 1/8. And then you're going to cut each of these in half. So that is 1 1/16. And on the Stampin' Up! Trimmer, the 16th is the smallest line. So it's going to be the one just past the 1. And then 1 1/16. Now, for our designer series paper, we need to cut, this is a 6 by 6 paper, so we need to cut it to 4 inches by 5 1/4. So the 5 1/4, we can just, no thought on that one, right? We'll just cut it off, save this for another project, because oh my gosh, we can't not use this beautiful paper. So next we have to decide, do we want the green or the pink? And there's a lot of pink here, so I'm going to cut off more of the pink. So we need this to be 4 inches. Oh, we're going to cut off almost all of the pink. Oh, I wanted all of it. Anyways, so now when we cut this one, this is where we have to kind of keep it track of where we're putting it, because I want these to all be in order when I'm done. First of all, we're going to cut 4 strips that are 15/16. I'm getting ahead of myself. So again, it's that little line right before the 1 if you have one of these trimmers, and you're going to cut 4 of them that. And I like to kind of keep these, let's see, you can't see, I'm off screen. Let's pull down. Okay, I like to keep these in line. I know it should be easy to put them back in order, but okay, so 15/16. It sounds tricky, but it really isn't. It's just the little line, almost 1 inch. And if you don't have a trimmer that has the 16ths, you can kind of fudge it between the 1/8. Oh, darn, had to cut that really dark stuff off. Okay, so now I have my pieces kind of lined up here. This, like I said, this is the part that my brain has trouble with. So now I want these, they're going to lay across, but I have to cut them in half because one piece of the puzzle is coming from one side and one from the other. So I'm going to take my first strip and I'm going to cut it at 4 1/8. And remember, we're using both of these. And then my second strip, I am going to cut at 3 inches. Now, if you are really good with math and putting puzzles together, you could probably cut the top and the bottom pieces are the same, and the 2 middle ones are the same. You just flip them. My brain can't go there, so I do it this way. Okay, so the third piece is cut at 2 1/4. And then the final piece is cut at 1 1/8. And like I said, these are actually the same Can you see that? They're the same. So that's our pieces for that. Oh, and I forgot to cut these. Okay, so these black ones, I'm not worried about colors, right? So I can actually cut the two pieces together for these. So we can cut the first two at the 4 1/4. Okay, so now we have both our top. And I was so excited to show you the designer series paper cutting that I didn't do this first. Normally I would have done this first. Okay, see, those are going to be there. And now the middle two are going to also be the same but flip-flopped. So these ones we're going to cut at 3 1/8. Oops, couldn't get it to slide. There we go. After you make a couple of these, it's pretty simple. The first time I was pretty confused. So there are all of our pieces. Now what I'm going to do right away before I move the, I'm not even going to move this. I'm going to get these all adhered down. Now let's pull back in our base that we have all prepared, and we're going to first of all lay down some adhesive, whatever kind you want to use, on the entire flap, the outside flap, and you just lay it flat, and then you're going to line, starting with the littlest one on the bottom, you're going to line it up on both edges, you know, so it fits square in the corner. It's going to hang over just a little bit. You'll take your next one, butt it up tight, and line it up. And just continue going all the way up, butting them up to the one below, and lining up the edges. For the second side, you're going to go ahead and put adhesive on the whole thing, just like you did on the first one. Then to line this one up, you want to close this. Okay, so fold it and close it, and then fold this and close it. I know it takes like an extra hand here, but I'm going to turn it this way so I can. And then you're going to start with your longest one on the bottom, butt it up against these two, and then on the edge. And I seem to be a little bit off here for some reason. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so second one is going to fit right in here, butt it up. Oops. I like to use the Stampin' Seal Plus, but it is unforgiving for sticking. Okay. Make sure I'm still on screen. I know I like to slide off screen here. I need to keep her some days. Okay, and then we'll finish with our, let's see, this direction. And this guy goes like this. So then we have our puzzle all ready to slide together, and it will fit just perfect. Next, we want to find an ink pad. So we've got our little TV here, or a big TV, right? I'm just going to pull this in for a minute to show you the stamp set. So it's got the TV and some fun messages and just, you know, those things. And that's our static. Remember static? Our little antennas. Oh, those were the days. We had to get up to turn the channel. Remember those days? Actually, I kind of like them in a way because you couldn't lose the button on the TV like the remote, and it didn't need batteries, so you didn't have a remote that didn't work. It wasn't all bad. So we're going to need 2, and I've cut my paper just big enough so I can get 2 out of here. So then I will go and die cut these, and at the same time there is, here, let me show you the dies while we're at it. So we're going to die cut the big TV and the screen for the center out of the white. And I wanted to show you there's, you know, you can do your knobs in say black or silver. Cuts out the antenna. We've got the little sparky things and, you know, some stars. These little stripes, you know, at the end of the night when they turn the TV off, can you imagine that? Turn the TV off for the night. Oh, they had the colors. You can do these in different colors. And this reminds me of those old clocks. If you're my age, you know what I mean. If not, look in an antique store, you might find one. So let's just go and die cut these. Okay, so we have our TVs, and you may have noticed that I had my white piece just the size you needed it. There was no extra, so my girls at class had a little trouble with that. But as you can see, I did get 2 out of there. So the next thing we need to do is we need to stamp our greetings on our TV screens. This is a birthday card. So we have our happy birthday, which is going to be on the inside. Now we'll see if I can remember that. Oh, I had something on there. Nope, I'm going to leave it. Now with these clear stamps, you can sometimes see part of it didn't come off. Yeah, now I got a halo. I'm going to need to cut another one for that. So on to the second one. This is our front. Now I could stamp this on the back side, but I don't like, because the die leaves a really nice little border, I don't like doing that. Okay, let's try this one again. Happy birthday. Be my luck, I would stamp the wrong one the second time. Okay, and let's just be more patient and hold it on there, Robyn. Hold it on there, Robyn. Hold it on there, Robyn. Okay, that's better. See, no matter how many years you stamp, you still make mistakes. But they're all fixable because it's paper. Okay. Now we will just adhere these down. Do you know one thing I learned the other day, as many years as I've stamped, is that I should wait longer when I stamp before I die cut, because I scrubbed off my plates on my dies the other day, or my die cutter plates, and they were black. Usually I use black ink, right? Okay, so I am just going to, oh, he had been, oh, I do remember, somebody goofed up and didn't have room to do their, okay, we're just going to put him in there. And then when I attach this one, I'm going to pop it up with dimensionals, and I want to show you something. Here's a little tip. Okay, so you only need to put it, well, not even need, you can only put adhesive on the one side because you want this side to open, right? So when you're doing this, put the adhesive on here rather than on there. Boy, I don't know how I ended up with one on each side. I was using the leftover kits from my class. Okay, so I know I'm going to need 2 here and 1 there. See, and then I don't have glue where I don't want it. And I can open my card. Isn't that fun? I love this card for this this stamp set with the tune in and this paper. Very retro. Hope you enjoyed this. If you would like to purchase any of the supplies, I have the address for my store below. And thanks for stopping by at the Roost. Hope you have a fun day.